To start with then, Peter, do you want to kind of just introduce the campaign for wool, what Wool Week is, and then why we're here, just to kind of set the scene. So this will be the start of the video.
Yeah, I'm Peter Ackroyd, CEO of the Campaign for Wool. The Campaign for Wool was started by His Royal Highness Prince of Wales 10 years ago, and it's celebrating its 10th anniversary this winter season. We started Wool Week yesterday, where we celebrate the uses of wool, the environmental advantages of wool, the sustainability of wool in various forms. It runs from high fashion to floor coverings, to interior textiles, to wall cavities even, to say that the use of wool as a totally sustainable fibre is present in everything we do in life. And the current programme that we're talking about this morning, we're talking about, I think, quite a unique farm to fashion story within a certain radius. A lot of farm to fashion stories cross the globe from Australia to UK and then back to China to be manufactured, but this is quite unique in so much as it is concentrated in one area with one farm, one spinner, one weaver and one designer. So let me introduce Bruce Calverley, who I've known for at least 20 to 30 years. I remember Bruce when he was in the carpet yarn trade with Lawton, so he's not unfamiliar. Gardeners I also know. I knew the founder of Gardeners, the Brown family, H. Colin Brown, used to run the mill out of Selkirk in Scotland. They're very famous for their Shetland qualities. And I'm very pleased that Bruce is carrying on that tradition, albeit in Huddersfield. I'd like to ask Bruce how he finds working with British wool. A lot of gardeners' wools in the past were from New Zealand wools, were from wools from the Commonwealth. But to have a unique British story is something quite advantageous and quite interesting in the terms of sustainability and what we call proximity sourcing. So Bruce, if you give me a few words about how you see working with local farms, particularly John Taylor.
It's very exciting and very interesting to be using British wools. They're not always ideal for every end product, but the yarn that we spun for the end purpose that it was being used for by Dashing Tweeds, it suited its purpose. It's fantastic to be able to use something that is parochially on your doorstep. Ecologically it's sound, there's very little transport involved, and we hopefully produced a good yarn to be able to weave. The British wool products in general, there's the farmers in Britain, there's hundreds of different breeds which are sustainable and usable, and it's just great to be able to use those instead of shipping them halfway across the world to be able to put into a yarn.
I agree, I mean, absolutely. Do you know the exact breed of Mr. Taylor's sheep? Is it a Cheviot?
No, it was a Swaledale cross.
Swaledale, yeah.
Excellent. And of course the micron of that is very, very coarse, but it produced the yarn in the count that we could produce to weave Robbie's.
Yeah, a coarse micron strong wool down to a good handle. I've seen it done in Italy with hill sheep in Biella. I've seen it done in the west of England. As a woolen spinner by trade, how do you get a coarse yarn to have a decent handle, which Dashing Tweeds definitely has to have?
We blend a little bit of English lamb in with it. This yarn was actually combed first, and we were sent tops, and then we use that. So a lot of the coarser fibre, I think, have been combed out of it. So that helped a little bit with the handle at the end.
That's very interesting. That unlike a normal coarse yarn, you would not have combed it. No,
we didn't. It was pre-combed and then sent to us.
Maybe we can start introducing Robbie and Stevie to the discussion as well. That might be nice to. Do you want to do the introduction? I'm sorry, Bruce. I'm just going to mute you. Robbie and Stevie, do you want to unmute yourselves, and then not chopping off? A little bit, yeah, there we go, wonderful. And maybe a little bit further back. There we go, lovely. Yeah, super.
That's good.
Hold over away again. A little bit right. Good morning, guys. I'm Robbie Trussler. I've only been doing this for about 54 years and still enjoying it. But we started, my family started this in drove weaving 41 years ago. But 20 years ago, we hit the tough times, and I became a part of Langham of Scotland. Stevie started work with me 20 years ago. Am I right?
26.
26, there you go. Time moves on. So we've, and short story long, Langham, we managed they got rid of us, made us all redundant in March, just as COVID started. We finally finished the last lot of weaving in July for them. But Stevie and I have discussed, we've been friends and worked well together for 26 years. We decided we'd give it a go because there's no other jobs in Langham. We are the last mill in Langham with the last looms. We actually had the last shuttle looms up to 4 or 5 years ago. But we're now weaving with Dornier looms. We've got 7 Dorniers and 1 old Summit. It's maybe an old Summit, but it does a job. It is we specialize, that's what we do. We do short length weaving, sample making, pattern making, whatever the customer wants. We'll weave anything and everything, really. We do come unstuck an odd time, but we overcome it. We get our heads together. There's nothing beats us, put it that way. And of course, working with Dashing Tweeds, as we've done now for, 12 years? Has to be, it's been I wouldn't say it's been a trial. We've learned a lot as well working with Dashing Tweeds, because as I say, we're open to other ideas, other specs, and as I say, with this new venture, we homegrown yarn, so to speak, we're all for it because, as I say, if it boosts textile, that's what we want, because we need textiles in this company. We're all getting smaller. Mind looking at you wouldn't think so, but no, we're quite positive as to what the future is. Because as I say, we don't take a lot of feed in. We feel small is still going to be beautiful, so we'll carry on from there. I'll pass you over to Stevie if you want to make a wee comment.
Yeah, well, that's it. My name is Stevie Tweddle. I've been working in textiles for 40 years, 26 years here, and so the variety that we get through is just incredible. And just look forward to going forward, hopefully.
Any other questions you would like to fire at us?
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, could I ask you, Robbie and Steve, what is the specific quality of a tweed woven in Langham? I've known Langham many years. I knew Arthur Bell, I knew Reed and Taylor, I knew Edwin Armitage, I knew all the old soldiers of the Langham area. What's the specific thing about Langham that gives its name to a great tweed? I've still got a couple of Arthur Bell jackets, you know.
That's right. Well, we're sitting in Arthur Bell's old office.
I thought you might be. Tom Scott and everybody else, yeah.
Correct.
Pat Keeney and Tom Scott, yeah.
I knew Tom very well. He was very kind to me a few years ago when I went, but it's another story that.
Well, if you can just give me a sort of a soundbite about what is the great quality of Langham. Is the water good? Is the finishing good in that area?
That all passed on, and all the family mills, they all had their own finishing, which was the water. Reed and Taylor's based their finishing on the water up at the river Wahop, as we call it here. But when all these mills sort of lost the business, it all goes to Schofields and Galashiels. They finish the cloth now.
It goes into Gala, does it? Right.
And I believe one of our customers does use Johnson's down in Huddersfield. But most of it is Schofield's finish.
Originally, the Reed and Taylor's diverted the River Wahop so in a sort of dam so they could specially finish their cloths. But it was a soft finish in Langham, whether it was the Esk water or the Wahop water. So, as I say, it all became relevant as they moved on with the finishing.
Question about, I mean, there's a whole new thinking post-COVID, which Prince Charles has been trying to articulate, called reset, rethink, rejudge, restart. And I think my view is that this is going to go towards more niche type products. People are going to invest in wool with a return on capital. It's going to be something that people want to be able to mend and take care of. Do you see that as a future for your company, for Grove in Langham? This new trend of being more specific and more niche?
As I say, we cover most things. Yes, there is definitely, the niche market is going to keep us busier. busy. You know, we're not in the mass production line of things anyway, but I'm all for having specifics, like Dashing Tweeds is a great ambassador for that, because they try things, see if they work, and they go from there. And we'll back and support that to the best of our ability. But
well, Dashing Tweeds is a niche within a niche, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's a niche within a niche. I mean, you wouldn't... I mean, I'd like to see you do it in one of Dashing Tweeds' jackets going to the pub on a Friday night in Langham. Yeah.
Get you a Dashing Tweeds.
I think, Holly, maybe just a final question on the campaign for wool, if possible.
Yes, of course. Please do.
The Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, Prince of Wales in Huddersfield, Prince Charles, Duke of Rothesay in Langham, launched the campaign for wool 10 years ago. He wants to link this to his sustainable agenda of climate change and how local sourcing is going to help save the planet. What are your views on that sort of intervention and that sort of support for wool industry, for the wool industry in the UK?
I'm all for it. I'm pleased there's somebody with a little bit of clout being very conscious that we need to do things better, and we're up for all that. And all the help we can get, we'll go for it. We'll go with it, no problem.
Great. Wool is just such a fabulous product that produces such wonderful end products, really, from garments through to flooring to bedding, and it needs to be used more. And in Britain, we've got, well, 40,000 plus farmers with one of the most diverse range of sheep breeds available. By us maintaining those farms and the farmers maintaining, it helps keep the land and what we all enjoy when we go out into the countryside to the form that it is and developed. So I think it's a very important thing to maintain British wool and the British wool industry and the heritage that it has that goes with it.
Brilliant from my point of view. Really nice to get a really great vision of what you guys do and the backstories of manufacturing in Britain. Peter, anything else that you want to ask? Anything you think we've missed or anything to add?
I honestly don't think so. No, I think we've covered the waterfront, as it were. It's pretty, yeah.
I think
one thing I forgot. Yeah.
Oh, go on, Bruce.
One thing I forgot to mention was that, to my mind as well, is the fun that Dashing Tweeds puts into the industry. I think you have a fabulous sense of fun, which I think carries through into the marketing that you're doing, and all the blogs.
Great point. Yeah.
Super. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Holly. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Robbie and Stevie. Thank you, Bruce. It's been really, really great having you all here. And it's really great sharing, I think. And even if we can do this more in the future, and if you've got more stories you want to share, we understand you guys, your focus is obviously manufacturing and focusing on obviously your key skills and spinning and weaving. And obviously our focus is marketing and getting the product out there. But we know that obviously if we can also share more about what you guys do, that'll help more people get involved with selling and supplying and buying wool products. So we're definitely here to help support and really promote British textiles going forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, gentlemen.
Long way.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
And you too. Thanks, everybody else. Yes. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.